So good morning again. And I was saying that I feel kind of delighted to be here, partly from having done the half an hour walk from my house to IMC in this wonderful, clear, cool morning. There's something about the simplicity of walking in the early morning and having many things fall away and just being here and breathing the cool air and the simplicity of just being that is a delight. So to prepare for this meditation, if someone keeps their hand tight in a fist for a long time, and then somehow or other they have the occasion for it to relax, it can be a tremendous relief, and that relief can come with a surge of kind of joy or delight, or that is just almost distracting us from our distractions, pulls us away for a little bit from all the concerns we have and preoccupations and the thoughts that may be ideas that were causing us to tighten up the fist to begin with. And it's almost like for maybe a second or two, it's like being on a slide and sliding down, and everything kind of stops for the purposes of just, whooshing down the slide. And so there's the relief, and maybe even joy of everything letting go of everything. So as we do this meditation, let go. Just let go of everything. Let go of anything. Every time you let go of your thoughts, look for the relief. Look for the moment of joy, the moment of being on that slide. As you exhale, there's a kind of letting go. And I sometimes particularly feel like there's a slide, as the sensations in the torso and the chest and the belly and diaphragm of releasing, the breath gets released. And the inhale too can be a letting go. If you let go into the breathing in, the body breathing in. Let go of preoccupations. If there's physical pain as you sit and ache, maybe you can't let go of the pain, but maybe let go of the resistance to it or the aversion to it. If there's desire for something, maybe that thing you don't let go of, but maybe the desire for it for a moment or two can be let go. Have letting go be what you do on this meditation. That every time you be with the breath, you let go of thoughts. But as you do so, see if you can enjoy it. Find the relief. And if you're straining and trying too much to meditate or to follow these instructions, maybe the relief and the delight can come from letting go of these instructions. And then continuing to meditate, letting go again and again and again. But see if you can find the relief or the enjoyment that somehow keeps you contented here and now in the present moment with your direct experience now. So let go, enjoy, and if so whatever you might need to let go of, you might have to turn the attention back some deeper way into the mind to find out where the stage director is, seemingly off stage, commenting, judging, coming to conclusions. And maybe letting go is bringing the stage director on the stage, so it's seen clearly, and you let go then. Let go and enjoy. Let go and feel the relief. And don't make anything big about this. If you're able to let go, don't then start thinking about it. Let go again and again. So assuming a meditation posture, gently closing your eyes, and in a moment taking a deep breath and relaxing on the exhale. Before doing that, what is it that you can release physically, mentally, emotionally? What can you release as you exhale? So taking a deep breath and letting go. Taking a deep breath and letting go into the body, into the present moment, here. And after taking a few long, slow, deep breaths and relaxing, see if you can ever so slightly enjoy now letting go of breathing deeply, letting go of that effort, and breathing in a normal way on the exhale. Maybe there's a relaxing in the body, relaxing in the mind, that is a form of letting go too. Enjoy it. A deep breath, and just breathing in, breathing out. Is there some releasing of thought or the grip, gripping to thought? Letting go of thoughts and letting go into the breathing in a way that's a relief, a joy. You've probably spent enough time in your life thinking. It can be a relief to let go for this few minutes of your preoccupations in favor of the joy of letting go. Here and now. Perhaps it's useful to let go of whatever's caught your attention, whatever you're caught in, at every exhale. Maybe it's letting go of physical tension in your body, or letting go of the aversion or to the tension, letting go of thoughts, or letting go of being bothered by your thoughts. Maybe letting go takes a form of softening. And as you let go, notice the relief or the joy of letting go, however slight it might be. as if when you let go, if you feel any relief or delight in letting go, allow yourself to have an ever so slight smile, turning up the corners of your lips, just enough so there's a kind of delight in your face. And keep letting go with every exhale, maybe with every inhale. And let whatever joy or relief that is in that letting go, let it be registered in your body, your heart. Let it be like a wind of well-being that blows through your very being. And as we come to the end of this sitting, may it be that the joy of letting go allows us to be more present for others in a way that appreciates them, where we take delight in the loveliness of others, or where our joy and our well-being is the manner through which we see others. May we bring joy with us into the world, and in so doing, may we be the conditions to support the well-being and happiness of others. May all beings be happy. May all beings be delighted in feeling safe. May all beings be free of their suffering. May all beings let go enough to experience the appreciation, the respect that you might offer them. May all beings be happy. Thank you. So welcome to this fifth talk on where I try to offer a description or explanation of the core teachings that I base my rest of my teachings on, the kind of the foundational teachings, and maybe what in some ways animates or motivates me to teach. So so I'll review what I've done this week so far. That I place the attention, sensitivity to suffering and the end of suffering at the center of the Dharma that I teach. That the possibility of ending suffering, the possibility of meeting suffering in the world and oneself in a deep way, is one of the most profound things that I know a person can do. That there are many wonderful things to do in the world, but I believe one of the most fundamental, wonderful things is bring suffering to an end. And either for oneself or working to support others to do that. And that then whatever other wonderful things we do in reference to that freedom from suffering. And then it makes everything else more meaningful or more valuable because it conveys then that possibility for others as well. And that end of suffering is supported by not holding on to any views, any fixed views, that there's a freedom from views. And certainly human beings do a tremendous amount of projecting onto others, onto reality, onto themselves, of concepts, ideas, judgments, and bias. And we do that with our religious practice, spiritual practices as well. And one of the key qualities of the kind of Buddhism that I really kind of am oriented towards is not holding on to any views as being ultimate, religious views. Even the idea that this is the truth is a kind of dangerous kind of territory that lends itself to one more view to put on top of things. And certainly there are understandings and perspectives that are invaluable, but there's a way in which as we practice goes deeper, that we rely less and less on perspectives, less and less on views and interpretations and even Buddhist teachings. And ultimately we need to be freed of Buddhism too. And then the naturalistic aspect of all this, that by the absence of views, there's a way in which we're being very present here and now, that there is a natural unfolding, there's a natural way in which we operate, and that we can stay close to. We don't have to rely on things that require views, including views of the supernatural or things we can't know directly for our own experience. So this direct connection to direct experience, because it's not just direct experience in and of itself, but direct experience is the medium through the natural, healthy processing, unfolding, evolving of our heart, our mind, our spirituality, our freedom can occur. And so we want to stay close to that. And part of that naturalism that we stay close to is a natural capacity for positive emotions, positive social emotions that involve care itself, compassion, loving kindness, empathy, that this is part of the awakening that happens in Buddhism, the awakening of the sensitive heart, awakening of the heart that can be attuned to the welfare of others, to the suffering of others, to ourselves, but to do so without being distressed, without being troubled, without being caught up in views of self and others and meaning and victim and even the views of responsibility and obligation to others. There's a radical way in which we're setting free this beautiful human sensitivity that can inform us and guide us and motivate us, that is part of the naturalistic movement, not the projected movement of responsibilities, obligations, shoulds, shouldn'ts, good person, bad person. And so as the sensitivity to suffering deepens, so it does to ourselves. And the remarkable thing about the path of liberation is that it becomes a more and more subtle sensitivity to suffering, which at some point doesn't really you can't really call it suffering anymore. Maybe in the way that popular world thinks of suffering as big stuff, big things, but it becomes a very subtle, very deep stress or tension that we carry deep in our psyche, deep in our minds, that underlies everything that we're also addressing in this path. And then we come to today, where one of the fundamental orientations I have in teaching is that there is liberation and a path to liberation. And that the path to liberation is a naturalistic path that unfolds, it opens up, that shows itself as the mindfulness, as the stability, as the concentration, this steadiness of the heart and mind becomes deeper and deeper, that we can feel that onward leading nature to the end of suffering. And that there's a call, there's a motivation, there's a desire for that end, that it's not a projection, that's not an attachment, but a completely naturalistic desire that is healthy to adhere to, or healthy to go along with. And so in this naturalistic way that I like to teach or like to understand, I use a very physical, ordinary example that could be seen as somewhat reductionistic or materialistic even, but it speaks to the naturalistic nature of what happens in this deep kind of path of liberation. And that is the example I often like to use, is to hold on tightly to your fist, really to hold tightly on it. And if you hang on to that tight fist and do a really good job with a tight fist, like almost so like your hand's going to go numb or it's going to hurt without injuring yourself. And what you'll start feeling is a natural tendency to relax the grip. So if you can do that, if you want to do this as an exercise, to really do a good job, like you're going to, after you're proud of how well you can keep that hand constantly tight. And then I'm going to tell a story of how in ancient India there was a way of catching monkeys. Now it turns out that monkeys apparently love sweets. So a monkey hunter would carve out a slot in a coconut, carve out the inside of the coconut enough to put a candy in it. And so the monkey, and then you tie the coconut to a tree. The monkey comes along and knows the candy's in there and can only get the hand in through that slot by having the hand flat. And it goes in and holds onto the candy, but then the hand is kind of bunched up. And now it tries to pull out the hand, and it can't do it. And it doesn't want to let go of the candy. And it can't get free of the coconut. And so the coconut is tied, the hunter just comes along and picks up the monkey, and it's caught. So as I told that story, were you able to maintain that tight fist? Were you a little bit distracted by me and by the story? And if you were, then you probably felt a little release. You can let go now of your fist if you like. A little release of letting go. The natural tendency of tension, of holding on tight in the muscles, is the muscles want to relax and let go. So whether it's physical tension or emotional tension or mental tension, the nature of that tension is to want to relax. And maybe I'm anthropomorphizing a bit to call it that it wants to let go, but that's the onward leading nature of it. It has the nature, it has the characteristic of it takes energy to keep it going. And the energy is tiring to keep expending. So the movement is towards letting go of any tension. All suffering comes with tension. All suffering comes with a certain kind of work, believe it or not. And so as we can feel the work, we can feel the tension, and how there's almost like a desire to let go, to release. And so that's the path of liberation opens up through being sensitized to this and seeing and following the movement towards this deeper and deeper letting go. And it's what our system, our whole psychophysical system, most wants, more than any other desire. And what we find is that that desire is a natural desire. It's a desire that comes without tension. Desire that, and I call it, again, in this reductionistic way, the biological imperative to liberation. And in the process of my own practice and my own path of liberation, it's made a huge impact on me how deep and thorough the possibility of freedom from suffering can be. That the Buddhist teaching that there is an end to suffering, this is real. It is possible to end suffering. And the completeness, the fullness that's possible has taught me that even though sometimes it's temporary and suffering comes back afterwards, it's a radical transformation to experience that even temporarily, this very full, complete letting go that this tradition points to as possible. And that becomes then the guide for all the rest of this. That yes, there is. It's important to address suffering directly and to bring it to an end. Yes, views, no matter how subtle, get in the way of the deepest letting go that we can do. Yes, this is a kind of a natural process we're involved in that we cannot orchestrate, that we cannot, in the end, make happen. And yes, this natural desire for end of suffering is a deep form of care, deep form of compassion and love. And yes, there is a path. Yes, this deep, deep liberation is possible. And and so this is what underlies in the background of what I teach. And there was a time before we kind of had to remodel IMC that in the wall opposite with it, where I sit teaching, there was for the teacher's sake, high up on the wall, was a synonym for liberation, reminding teachers that all the teachings are in some way or other are moving in that direction as well, and that this is what this is about, and everything else in Buddhism, I'd like to believe, is an extension of this, or builds on that, or is founded on this, and I operate I teach an idea, this is really a worthwhile goal for the world. That we don't just do this liberation for ourselves, that we do it to benefit and support everyone. That some of us need to take this path all the way to the end, so that everyone sees that it's possible. There's hope, there's possibility. We don't have to keep living in a world of strife and animosity and greed. We don't have to always kind of be caught in ourselves and kind of building up the self or protecting the self in a certain kind of way. There's a radical freedom that is possible that we can experience, so that it's kind of equivalent to the airlines who say, put on your air mask for yourself first, and then help others. So I hope that these teachings have been useful for you to understand at least me and what's underneath my teachings. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to teach this way and let you know, and very grateful for all my opportunities to be able to teach. I feel so fortunate that I have these opportunities to share something that is so profound for me and something that allows me to give expression to my care and compassion for this world that we live in. So thank you very much.